Hi, I'm Nathan Wayne, and as you may know, I am the current president of Model United Nations. I am a senior at Wabanzi Valley High School, which means that next year, someone else will have to take over my role.
So as the president of Model UN, what are your duties in the club?
In Model United Nations, as the president, I have a lot of responsibilities that I have to take care of. For one, I have to be at the top, organizing everything. I have to take responsibility for anything that occurs. I always have to plan out every single meeting. I have to submit an agenda to Mr. John or Ms. Stevens, get it cleared with them, and I have to make sure everyone's needs are met. I, as president, have spent hundreds of hours to this club, and you may think I'm over-exaggerating, but I'm truly not. I've spent all the way until 9 o'clock after school working on Model UN the entire time with Ms. Stevens and the rest of the exec board. It's my number one club. It is what I'm most dedicated to and the one I love the most. If you don't share that same passion that I do for Model UN, well, I just have to say good luck in maintaining your responsibilities next year, and hope that you don't get ousted from your position, because that's happened multiple times over this club's history. So,
Mr. President, what do you envision the future of this club to be, and what would you give? What advice would you give to members wanting to run as president?
To anyone that wants to take over my position in the future, I want to give you some advice, and especially concerning the early year when we're starting up the club. Our Wabanzi Model United Nations is special. It truly is. We start off much earlier than Meek was. That's partially why they don't come to our conference, because they start up so late. Ours is truly student run. So, meaning whoever takes after me, you are going to be in charge of getting people into the club, getting the word out, putting up posters and everything. When I was part of the exec board, the numbers in the club jumped to unprecedented numbers of like 80 plus people in the club at the start. Of course, that always dwindles down, but that's not the point. The point off is that we start off strong, because at our own conference especially, it takes so much work to get it all organized. Even before the start of the school year, I'm working throughout the summer, making sure everyone's got their background guides in on time for the conference, making sure that everyone knows what they're doing, assigning people roles, getting last minute people to come talk, talking to the keynote speaker and making sure that they have everything they need. It's a lot of time that I spend, and for whoever takes after me, I truly wish that you can comprehend, even for a little bit, how much time you'll be spending on this club, because without it, everything collapses. Everything is student run. The advisors will not hold your hands.
So we understand the advice, Mr. President, but what would you say you would like to see in the future? Or what is the future of Model UN in your eyes?
Throughout my 4 years in Model UN, all throughout my high school career, at the very start, there was the very first Wabanzi conference, which I was a delegate at, and I've seen it grow from just being Wabanzi and Matea to being also Wabanzi, Matea, Naperville North, Naperville Central, Glenbard North, Glenbrook South, Glenbrook North, and St. Charles East, and it's honestly gotten huge over just a short period of time. In the future, I imagine that our conference will get even larger, so it'll be even more complicated. So I want you all to just think very clearly on what you need to have in order to be president. I want you all to understand that this is not something that you undertake just to put on your college application. This is something that you do not just for the people that are part of the Wabanzi Model UN Club, but for everyone that attends our conference. It's a huge honor and I love it. Being president has made sure that I get to make sure that everyone's having a good time and it's an enjoyable time for everyone. So that's what I want to see in the future. Just make sure you understand that's going to grow and make sure that you make everything a fun time, right? Don't get too serious about it.
So, Mr. President, being a senior, how long have you been in this club for?
I've been in this club for 4 years, my entire high school career.
So, out of your entire high school career, what would you say is your favorite Model UN memory? Go for it.
I think it'd be a tie between two times my junior year, which were fantastic to me. One was at Munich with my partner Matthew Liu, an organization of Latin American states. That was a fun time for me representing Peru. I got to know the people around me very well, and one of my friends that I worked with over there, I met him there and we exchanged numbers, added each other on Facebook, and I got to know them. They went to St. Charles East and I invited them to come to our conference, the Wabanzi conference for next year, and they actually talked to their advisors, worked it out, and they came, and I was very proud of that. That is one of the most memorable things I ever had, because the connections I made at a conference actually meant something, and it evolved into something that helped out other people as well. My other favorite memory would be at Wheaton that year, in which it could be due to the fact that Wheaton didn't really have many people there, but Wabanzi swept. We got 11 out of the 13 awards that were given out, so I'm very proud of that. And I also got a gavel out of it with my name engraved on it, so that was fun.
Hi, I'm Katyani Gupta. I'm obviously the Vice President of Model UN. I'm currently a senior at Wabanzi, and yeah.
So, Ms. Gupta, being the Vice President, what would you say are your roles or your duties in this club?
Your roles? Okay. Well, the biggest thing would be your second in command, basically. Everything that the president does, you have to do right alongside. Whether it's help organizing the WV conference or just organizing a meeting and planning an agenda, you work hand in hand with the president, side by side, going through everything, every possible move to make, and you work alongside of him or her. Secondly, the biggest thing as a role of a vice president is organization. A lot of times, the biggest parts of Model UN can be given either to the president or the secretary, but the vice president has to ensure that everything is organized and goes plan by plan. So therefore, you have to be serious most of the time, actually be organized, and just know everything that's going on.
So after being in Model UN for so long, what would you give as advice to future candidates who are running for vice president, and what would you say is the future of Model UN in your eyes?
So firstly, advice, I'd have to say if you want to be anything on the exec board, whether it be secretary, vice president, president, or the technical director, I think the most important part is you have to be passionate about it. You can't just have this, again, as something you want to put on your college app or just to say that, oh, you know, I'm the vice president or I'm the president. You actually need to love this club and love what you do. You can't be dependent on anyone else to do your job. You have to be self-sufficient in everything you do. you have to just love Model UN and love this entire club and everything that comes along with it. You have to take on its responsibilities and its goals and make them your own and go through with that. The second part of the question was, what's the second part of the question?
What do you see as the future of this club?
Future of this club. I obviously want to see this club grow more and more. I think that while my years have been in Model UN, we've seen exponential growth in the numbers of our club, but I want to see more and more people active and more enthusiastic about being in this club and just loving the club as much as I do.
So, out of all your Model UN memories, what would you say is your number one favorite memory?
Number one favorite? Oh, that's hard. I'm gonna have to say two. Firstly, one was at my first Munich. It was the Saturday night. We were going to Water Tower Mall, and as the entire club, because obviously Wansi loves having the club together, we're like a family. And when we're going to Munich, it was freezing cold outside. As a sophomore, there's only a couple more sophomores there at the time. And we walked to the mall with speakers blasting music and people staring at us and skipping and running and dancing all through Chicago all the way until we got there. And it was that second I knew that, I love this club so much. And the second favorite memory, I guess, would be at the WV Model UN conference, where me and Nathan and the rest of the exec board obviously worked till, again, 9:30, setting all of our conference up and just, having a good time. It's good.
Hi guys, I'm Sanjit Sama. I'm a junior at Wabansi Valley High School, and I'm your secretary, as you know.
So, Mr. Sama, what is your role as secretary in this club?
Okay, as secretary, there's you're kind of doing like the dirty work of whatever the president and vice president say. So, kind of emails, getting the message out, whether it's going to be Facebook or not. So things like T-shirt orders, that's all you. Communicating messages is basically all you. You're going to be taking notes during meetings, notes during, kind of notes everywhere, and then resending those notes out. Let's see, that's as far as secretary goes.
So, Mr. Sama, what is the technical director going to be doing in our club next year?
Okay, the executive director of technology. Let's see. So it's kind of what I did as like a secretary. It's kind of going to be split right in between the line. Like half of it's going to be the director of technology, and half of it's going to be secretary. The director of technology, I'm assuming, is going to be more website based and getting the notifications out that way. So kind of social networking, Twitter, Facebook, email, what else? The website, which is brand new, and there's a lot of potential to grow. This position has a lot. So
it's going to be your senior year next year, and what would you like to see in Model UN as a senior next year?
Well, being the guy who loves technology, I think we have a lot more improvements that we could do like that, bringing us up to date on everything. And I kind of want to see more Model UN and less fighting between us. I want to see like actual debate rather than, oh, are we going to this conference, are we doing this? And I kind of want to see just the more idea of
less politics. So what's some advice you could give for next year's secretary position and technical director position?
Okay, for secretary position, just take a bunch of notes. Have records of literally everything and anything, because you have to have that. That's kind of your position. So anything in meetings that we do, take everything down. I hope you love writing. Yeah. And for the executive director of technology, I hope you love computers and typing. You're going to be kind of in charge of that. Just stay on top of things. Don't fall behind. A lot of the emails, don't fall behind on that. Just stay on top of them. A lot of website stuff, just stay on top of that, and kind of be up with new technology and new ways we can improve the club. Because he or she, you guys are in charge of keeping us up to date. So if there's any new services that we could use, yeah, just be up with it. Just want to let you guys know that we are not affiliated with Waubonsie Valley High School in any way, or Waubonsie Valley High School Model UN. We do not reflect the opinions of Mrs. Stevens or Mr. John. This is purely our opinions. And thank you. This message is brought to you by Nathan Wang, Simon Sama, and Kenyatta Gupta. Thank you.
Yay!
Hey, that low-key looked pretty good.